think we need to set up that type of provision. So you're looking between about 40 to 50,000 approximately. And once again, this also depends on sort of the size of the particular supported accommodation home that you're looking at wanting to set up. So these are some of the startup capital, and this shouldn't be a barrier to you. It's a challenge that's being presented to you. Anything in business, there's always going to be an element of risk, and there's always going to be capital involved. You can go into partnerships, business partnerships. You can ask people to come and invest into your business if you've got a sound business plan. Or if you've got a sound business plan, you can also look at getting some loans or some grants. So those are some of the things that we look at when you come and engage me to help you set up and launch your children's services home. So don't see the money as a barrier. Some people, what they've managed to do is they've initially started off with supported accommodation, and as they've been building their capital, as they've been reinvesting into their business, they've then launched into children's residential homes. That was the particular model that we took ourselves. We started off initially in supported accommodation, and then we moved on to children's residential homes. I think this has been touched initially by Godfrey, so I'm not going to dwell on this one too much, but I just want to highlight just some of the critical things that we need to consider here. So recruiting and retaining qualified staff. Critical appointments that you need to make. So within a residential children's home, you're looking at your registered manager and your responsible individual. Those are the two main key management positions that you need to fill. In supported accommodation, it's the registered service manager and it's the nominated individual. Fortunately, in children's, in supported accommodation, you could take both those roles. However, when you're looking at children's residential homes, those have to be two individual people. We had an experience in our children's residential home where we took on a manager who talked a good game. And on paper, she was absolutely brilliant. And of course, we're still setting up, so you don't always get the best candidates when you're registering your first home. And we managed to get somebody that we felt, at least for where we're going in the business, we thought that should do absolutely well and brilliantly. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case to be. And one of the challenges why we felt that didn't happen is because that leadership capability was not there. So when you're hiring, when you're looking at the person to hire for these roles, that leadership capability is so important. Unfortunately, this lady only had experience of being a deputy manager, on of which she hadn't really done a very good job at that from the previous place where she worked. And so being able to lead the staff, being able to work with the staff and really get them to meet the needs of the young children, unfortunately that didn't happen. So we learned a very harsh lesson on this particular point. And I would advise you, when you're looking at getting your registered service manager or your responsible individual, it's quite crucial that appointment that you make is so important. So do have people that maybe have got experience in this sector. They could be on an interview panel where they can help you. Have some of your children, if you're already operating, have some of the children on your interview panel so they can see whether that person can actually relate. So making sure you have the right appointments is absolutely critical. And the reason why I say that is because that person who's going to be the leader is the one that's going to craft the culture and the vision that's within your company. If they don't have a nurturing attribute to them, if they're not a compassionate person, if they actually don't have the child at heart, that will easily be seen. It will be seen by the team that she's leading, it will be seen by the children that are being supported. And those outcomes that you're trying to achieve, the needs of the children that you're trying to make sure that you meet, that won't happen. So that culture is so important. And one advice that I would like to probably share with those who are looking at wanting to start off please don't take the risk of thinking, yes, I can simply be the registered manager, if you have not had experience in residential setting yourself. I've talked to so many people that say, you know what, if this person could easily do it, I can also do it. And it's not true when it comes to children's residential homes. You have to have that skill set, you have to have that experience. And you have to invest into your business. You have to be prepared to pay your manager 55,000, 60,000, or what it takes to actually get a good registered manager. So please don't let that dissuade you, and don't try and think that I can simply do it. It is a lot easier to, when you're looking at supported accommodation, if you've got the experience that's needed, and I know Nyasha is going to talk about actually applying for Ofsted and what it needs, but it's probably a lot easier to be able to, if you've got the 5 years experience in residential, that can easily be whether you've been a manager in a CQC provision or any residential setting, and you've got that 5 years experience, and at least 2 of those years are in a management position. So it will be a lot easier for you to take up that role. But if that role is also new to you, then don't be afraid to also recruit. And with any regulated services, whether it's CQC or not, I'm sure a lot of you do know that you do have those stringent requirements of making sure that you are meeting all of the standards and the regulations that are needed within your sector. As I say, don't be afraid of this at all. I remember in October 2023, Ofsted was starting to look into regulating the 16 plus provision. Before that, there was no regulation, the 16 plus provision. And to me, I welcomed that. And the reason why I welcomed that is because when you have certain standards and certain regulations that you need to meet, it means firstly, those that are in business will actually be supporting those children properly. You will now be undercut by people that are charging, let's say, £500 a week to a local authority, when all in truly, they should be charging at least 1,200 a week. But we were being undercut by other people that were in the sector, not providing a good service to the young people at all. But obviously, local authorities, with their budgets, they want to just make sure they cut costs. So they will go to these providers because they say we can do this job for £600 a week. Yet it's something that needs to be done for about 1,300 or 1,500. So regulation is good. And what you need to make sure that you do for yourself is to put the codes there for you if you want to take the code there. What this is the Social Care Common Inspection Framework. Now, this is just a framework which is used by the inspectors when they come to your provision and they come in inspecting, are you meeting the needs of the children that you have? So they use that as the framework. You need to know that as your Bible. You need to study that and make sure that you know if an inspector is coming to our provisions, what are the things that they're looking at? This is easily available on the government websites. There's a link there for you. This one is for supported accommodation. This one is for children's residential homes. And what we do within our provisions, we use this to do our own quality assurance inspections that we do quarterly. So we are preparing ourselves every time and seeing, are we actually meeting the needs of the young people that we're supporting? Are we meeting the needs of the children that we are supporting? And it's really good to get feedback. Feedback from the children you support, feedback from the young people that you support. Because one of the key things that I've found about how you can actually make sure that you stay compliant is always having an attitude where you are continuously learning by getting feedback from children, feedback from local authorities, feedback from parents, if parents are involved, or guardians, and that way you're continuously improving your service and you're meeting the needs of the children that you have. And so if you do that, that enables you now to make sure you meet those regulations and standards. So this is one of the tricks of making sure you remain compliant, and when you're doing that, that inevitably will mean that you'll start getting good and outstanding results. So when your inspections come, as it was mentioned earlier on, if you've got an outstanding, or if you've got an outstanding rating, then the local authorities will come to you. They'll want to work with you, and that's how you grow and develop your business. And finally, so if you do want to get hold of me, there's my contact details. Please feel free to scan that. It takes you direct to my pages, my social media pages. I also offer 20-minute free consultations on there. So it will take you to my Calendly link, and you'll be able to have a discussion with me, and we can see how I help you.